The quiet before the rise. In a small town outside Atlanta, Marcus Jackson was the kind of man people noticed. Tall, quiet, always working 2 jobs to keep his mom's medical bills paid and his little sister in college. Folks called him dependable, but deep down, Marcus carried a fire no one saw, a calling he felt stirring since he was a kid in church, the kind that makes your chest tight when the preacher talks about purpose. One humid August evening, Marcus sat on the porch of his old shotgun house, Bible open on his lap, when the feeling hit harder than ever. It wasn't a voice exactly, but a weight, clear as daylight. Hold your tongue. This is not the time to talk. He'd been wrestling with it for weeks. A big opportunity had landed in his lap. A local developer wanted him to head up a community center project. Good money, respect, a chance to finally build something lasting in the neighborhood. But there were strings. The developer, Mr. Harlan, had a reputation. Cut corners, push people around, talk big about helping the community while pocketing most of the grants. Marcus knew the truth because his cousin worked the crew and had seen the shady bids. Everyone expected Marcus to jump at it. His mom kept saying, "Baby, this could change everything." His boys at the barbershop slapped his back, "Man, you do running things." Even the pastor pulled him aside after service. "God opens doors, son. Walk through them." But that inner instruction wouldn't lift. Hold your tongue. This is not the time to talk. Every time Marcus opened his mouth to say yes, or even to question the deal, the words stuck like gravel in his throat. He felt foolish staying silent, like he was letting blessings slip away. Then came the night of the town meeting. The community center plan was up for approval. The room was packed. Neighbors, council members, reporters from the local paper. Mr. Harlan stood at the front, smooth as ever, promising jobs, playgrounds, hope. People cheered. Marcus sat in the back row, palms sweating, heart pounding. He could feel eyes on him. Everyone knew he'd been offered the lead role. A councilwoman called for public comment. Hands shot up. Then she looked right at Marcus. "Mr. Jackson, we all know you're the man for this. Anything to add?" The room went quiet. Marcus stood slowly. His mouth opened, and nothing came out. Not a word. He just nodded once, respectful, then sat back down. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Some looked confused, others disappointed. Mr. Harlan smiled like he'd won already. Marcus walked home under streetlights, feeling small. Did I just throw away my shot? He prayed hard that night, asking if he'd misunderstood. The answer came back the same. Hold your tongue. 3 days later, the news broke. Federal agents raided Mr. Harlan's office. Turns out the whole project was a front, laundering money, fake bids, kickbacks. The grants were dirty. If Marcus had spoken up, even to ask questions, he would have been tied to it, his name dragged through the mud, his reputation ruined before he even started. Worse, if he'd stayed quiet but taken the job, he'd been complicit. Instead, silence protected him. Weeks passed. The scandal cleared the way for real change. A nonprofit stepped in with clean funding, and they reached out to Marcus, not because of hype or connections, but because people remembered his quiet integrity at that meeting. "We need someone we can trust," the director said, "someone who doesn't talk just to fill space." Marcus took the role. This time the money was real, the plan solid, the impact deep. His mom got better care, his sister graduated debt-free. And in the quiet moments, Marcus understood, sometimes the biggest doors don't open with noise. They open when you obey the instruction to stay still, to guard your words like treasure. Because one careless sentence can delay destiny, but silence, true disciplined silence, can align everything just right. Marcus Jackson had always been the steady one in a family that life kept trying to knock sideways. Growing up in a modest brick ranch house on the edge of Decatur, just outside Atlanta, he'd learned early that words could build bridges or burn them down. His father, a deacon who preached on Sundays and drove a delivery truck the rest of the week, used to say, quoting Proverbs like it was family law, "Even a fool is thought wise if he keeps silent, and discerning if he holds his tongue." Marcus took it to heart, but lately the lesson felt heavier than ever. At 34, Marcus worked construction by day and ran a small landscaping side hustle on weekends. His mother, Miss Evelyn, fought lupus with the same stubborn grace she'd used to raise 3 kids alone after Dad passed. His younger sister, Keisha, was in her junior year at Georgia State, chasing a nursing degree. Every paycheck stretched thin, meds, tuition, groceries, but Marcus never complained. He prayed instead, long and quiet on that sagging front porch, Bible open to James 3 about taming the tongue. Lately, though, the prayers weren't just requests. They came back with one unmistakable instruction, like thunder wrapped in velvet. Chosen one, hold your tongue. This is not the time to talk. It started small, a whisper during quiet time, then stronger, insistent. Marcus felt it in his chest every time he opened his mouth about the future, and the future had knocked loud. Mr. Raymond Harlan, a slick real estate developer with a billboard smile and a fleet of black SUVs, had approached Marcus 3 weeks earlier. Harlan's company was pushing a big community revitalization project, a new center with after-school programs, a gym, job training, even a small clinic. "We need local leadership," Harlan said over coffee at the Waffle House off I-20. "Someone the neighborhood trusts. Someone like you, Marcus. Head foreman, good salary, benefits. This could set your family up for good." The neighborhood buzzed. Folks slapped Marcus on the back at the barbershop. "Boy, you about to run things," his cousin Trey said, clippers humming. Miss Evelyn's eyes lit up when he told her, "God opens doors, baby. Don't you dare close this one." Even Pastor Reynolds at Mount Zion pulled him aside after altar call. "The Lord prospers the work of your hands, son. Step into it." But every time Marcus tried to say yes, every time he rehearsed the words in the mirror or on the drive home, the instruction clamped down like a hand over his mouth. "Hold your tongue. This is not the time to talk." His throat tightened, words died unspoken. He felt foolish, like he was sabotaging his own blessing. Doubt crept in at night. Maybe I'm hearing things. Maybe this is fear talking, not faith. He confided in no one. Not Trey, who would have called him crazy. Not Keisha, who texted daily asking if he'd signed yet. Not even Pastor. Silence felt like disobedience to everyone else, but obedience to the one whose voice mattered most. The town hall meeting came on a sticky Thursday in late August. The high school auditorium smelled of old gym floors and fresh coffee. Folding chairs filled fast. Neighbors in work boots, council members in suits, a couple local reporters. Harlan took the podium, all charisma and PowerPoint slides. Jobs for 50 locals, playground upgrades, real investment in real people. Cheers erupted, hands clapped. Then the council chairwoman scanned the room. "Mr. Jackson, we understand you've been offered a key role. Anything you'd like to share?" Marcus stood. The room hushed. 200 pairs of eyes waited. His heart hammered so hard he felt it in his ears. He could feel the expectation, his mother's hopeful gaze from the third row, Trey's grin, even Harlan's confident nod. Marcus opened his mouth. Nothing came. Not a sound. He swallowed, tried again. Still silence. After what felt like forever but was probably 10 seconds, he gave a small, respectful nod and sat back down. Murmurs rippled. Someone whispered, "What's wrong with him?" Another, "Man too scared to speak up." Harlan's smile flickered, then steadied. He took it as a win. Marcus walked home alone under buzzing streetlights, replaying the moment. Shame burned hot. Did I just throw away everything? He knelt by his bed that night, Bible open to Psalm 141. "Set a guard over my mouth, Lord. Keep watch over the door of my lips." Tears came. "If I missed it, show me. But if this is you, help me trust." 3 days later, the hammer fell. Channel 2 News led with it. Federal raid on Harlan's offices, money laundering through fake community grants, kickbacks, inflated bids. The whole project was rotten from the foundation up. Arrests followed. Headlines screamed fraud. If Marcus had spoken, even to ask innocent questions, his name would have been linked. If he'd taken the job, he'd have been implicated, his reputation shredded before he could rise. Worse, his silence had kept him clean. The fallout was swift. The city pulled funding, the project collapsed, but something else opened. A national nonprofit, the Hope Builders Foundation, had been watching from afar. They'd quietly vetted the area for months. When the scandal broke, they stepped in with clean money, no strings. Their director, a nonsense woman named Miss Carla Ruiz, called Marcus personally. "We saw the footage from the meeting," she said. "You didn't grandstand, you didn't defend or attack. You just stayed steady. That's rare. We need someone we can trust to lead this right. No shortcuts, real impact." Marcus took the meeting. The offer was different. Modest salary at first, but full ownership of the vision, community input, transparent books, partnerships with local churches and schools. He accepted. Months turned into a year. The new center rose brick by brick, paid for honestly. After-school programs filled with kids who looked like Marcus once did. A small clinic opened, helping folks like his mom. Keisha graduated, landed a job at Grady Hospital, came home proud. Miss Evelyn's health stabilized enough for her to volunteer in the garden Marcus designed out back. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the new building gold, Marcus sat on a bench outside watching kids play basketball in the fresh court. Pastor Reynolds joined him, 2 styrofoam cups of sweet tea in hand. "You know," the pastor said, "I was disappointed that night at the meeting. Thought you'd lost your moment." Marcus smiled softly. "I almost did, but God said, 'Hold my tongue,' said it wasn't time to talk." Pastor nodded slow, like Jesus before Pilate, silent when they expected him to defend himself. That silence wasn't weakness, it was power, timing, protection. Marcus looked out at the kids laughing. One careless word could have delayed all this, maybe ruined it. Silence, it aligned everything. Pastor raised his cup to the quiet before the rise.
They clinked plastic. Marcus felt the weight lift. Not gone, but lighter. He understood now. The instruction wasn't punishment, it was preparation. In a world that rewards boys, shouting opinions, defending every point, the Spirit sometimes calls the chosen to hush, to guard the gate of the mouth like a fortress, because words release power, life or death, Proverbs said, and in certain seasons, the wrong release can scatter the very harvest God was ripening. Marcus still talked plenty these days, encouraging kids, planning with the board, praying out loud in services, but he listened harder first, he paused longer, and when that familiar weight returned, that clear inner command, hold your tongue, this is not the time, he obeyed without argument, because he'd learned the hardest truth. Breakthrough doesn't always roar in, sometimes it whispers, and the ones who hear it, who stay silent long enough to let it unfold, walk into seasons bigger than they ever dreamed. The end.